So unfortunately, we've all experienced some form of racism as migrant refugee young people living here in Australia. But we know that change starts with us, and that's why we're going to have this conversation today. So I guess we want to unpack this question: what is racism to you?
Yeah, for me, racism would be someone that discriminating you against your skin color, where you're from, and how you look. And also, it's just pretty upsetting how we are born in the country. We are born, we don't ask to be certain color, or we don't ask to come from, you know, Africa or Asia or Mexico or India or whatever it is. We're just born in this earth for someone to make you feel certain way about who you are and where you come from. I think that's really racism is to me.
Mm.
Yeah.
100%. I think just to add on to like what Naomi was saying, when it comes to racism, like I know from my own experience, it hasn't always been obvious, and it's the little things that I could never put a name to, and I couldn't always put under racism, but now I do know. There's things like the jokes and the stereotypes, and the questions like, "Oh, where are you from?" No, but like, where are you really from?
Mm.
Those little things making you feel othered is really yeah, it really sits under that because like things like Naomi was saying, it can be obvious and then really subtle. So yeah, that's just
I think sometimes racism is just not subtle. It's very obvious. It's in your face because look at me with a beard, with a turban man. I'm a visible minority. So people have those stereotypes in their mind that if a person is a bearded man or turban man, he's extremist. If not extremist, he's a taxi driver or runs a 7-Eleven, or those stereotypes that are embodied embedded in people's mind, and they sometimes it's not even intentional. It's very, some people just, it's just part of their culture or part of what they have been seeing through just listening to their elders, or become very a negative culture that requires our attention.
100%.
Definitely. And I think also just when because we all know we live in a world where no one is perfect, and then because we are such a people from a third world country, we're very targeted. And then when someone in our country or our community does something, all of a sudden we are all being attacked. Like every single person is being attacked because of that one person, not knowing that like every single person is their own person. We're not all the same. Just because we all have the same skin color, we all have turbans or beard or anything, doesn't make us all the same.
That's it.
We are all different people. So for us, every single person to be put under that bus, just based on one person's action, that's just
Yeah.
what we're living in.
I think that raises a really important point that like stereotypes do stem from some level of truth. Yes, there are, you know, people who look like myself and do enjoy rugby and, are really good at sports and music, but that's not necessarily me. And, when when you place those assumptions on people, yeah, and those labels on people, that's where it can go really wrong. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think from what you're all sharing, like there's a lot of unlearning that needs to be done by all communities.
yes,
So that we can have a better understanding of, or seeing as people as individuals rather than as a collective or as a body.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I guess I want to continue to unpack the question and ask, how does it feel to experience racism?
It's a good
And
question.
it's a hard question,
Yeah.
but I think it's important because we can say what the incidents are. We can say,
Yes.
what things can sometimes be categorized as racism, but how it makes you feel, I think, is something that we should definitely share.
For me, I first time experiencing racism, I was like maybe I'd say 12, and I went to a whole school with everyone was like I was the only like black people in the school. So I think just the feeling of just being unwanted, feeling very different, and as a child, I didn't really fully understand why I was not wanted by other kids or by other teachers. I was always put on the side. So, and then kids calling you names throughout lunchtime, and kind of like, you start to feel that to yourself. It's like, okay, maybe this is who I am now. You start to kind of believe those words as a child. But growing up and obviously researching, I wish I had the voice to say something, but I had no voice at the time. Especially we come into a country of, countries where there is, danger, and then we come to Australia to feel safe, but we don't feel safe at all because we're being called all this other stuff. And as a child, it's traumatizing.
Yeah, 100%.
You spend years with your friends. You have friends from all different backgrounds. You have friends from white backgrounds, Asians and all those stuff. You do your job, you pay your taxes, you do all what a citizen should do. But at that one point, when you feel that racism incident, you feel othered. You just feel that you don't have belonging in this country or the community, and that's very. I don't wish that feeling on anyone, but that is something that we all need to work on.
Yeah. I think you guys pretty much summed it up. Yeah.
And I think I just want to, Naomi, you saying that you experienced racism at the age of 12.
Yeah.
And I can imagine how that experience would have definitely impacted the rest of your life now as an adult. And I think many young people, younger than us, are experiencing racism. And that has huge lifelong impact. Definitely. So I guess I want to thank you guys for being part of this conversation. Thank you for gifting your stories, because they are tough conversations to have. And having to sometimes relive those experiences is difficult. But yes, thank you. And we'll continue this conversation because we know that change starts with us.
Definitely.
Together, with action, we can change it. Change starts with us.